在马来西亚打工一族的人占比70%之多。那这些人呢，都是日复一日、勤勤恳恳的工作者。在月尾的时候呢，老板就会付他们一份薪水。但这集的重点来了，如果今天有一个 HR 工具你能自主决定提前预支你下一个月的薪水，你会用吗？其实这样子的一个概念在国外已经非常的普遍，让员工提早用薪水解决生活的不易，也同时协助着雇主提高员工的生产力以及满意度。那今天来到我们 ZFounder 的节目呢，就是提供这样子的商业工具。Charles Setlary 的 founder 之一啦。
Worry whether it encourages more spending.
Yes.
Right. But how we look at it is we're not just an earn wage access kind of model. Setlary platform is a different concept.
但如果你问我的话呢，这个工具始终充满着争议性因为如果我们无差别的让一个人提前预支薪水，在人性面前会让他跌入更深的财务危机吗？今天我们就来听听 Charles 的故事。Hey Charles, welcome to the ZFounderclub show today. So today we are here to talk about, I think, a topic that is quite controversial, early wage access, EWA, right? You know, when I first threw this topic into my group of members, about 400 founders, a lot of them have huge concern. When you're talking about early wage access, it's like you allow employees to draw their salary in at once. I mean, their concern is if the employee itself have little to zero financial literacy training, would that put them into deeper debts or not?
A lot of people are worried whether it encourages more spending.
Yes.
But how we look at it is we're not just an earn wage access kind of model. Setlary platform is a different concept. We are more of an essential wage access kind of platform.
So you are still EWA, but you're not early wage access.
Essential, not early. Basically, we are a digital platform. We provide employees with the option to withdraw their salary early. But through our platform, it doesn't just encourage mindless consumption. Right? We have certain products which we call our Setlary wellness program, where we have insurance products, perhaps do your health screening.
Yes.
You can purchase nutritional products. So we have a whole variety of wellness products that when you withdraw your wages early, you can apply a part of it to these wellness programs. 1 is insurance, 2 is healthcare, 3 is education, and 4, we put it as nutrition.
So you link up your platform with a lot of essentials players in the market.
Correct.
Be it for electricity, F&B in the future, maybe.
Let's use insurance, a very simple concept. Everybody understands insurance. When you withdraw your salary early, a portion of that salary can be applied to buying an insurance premium.
Only can be applied to buying insurance.
Correct.
Really interesting. Just now, Charles, you mentioned concept of EWA.
Yeah.
You know, there's different terms for it, right? You know, to some it might be early wage access. To some it's earned wage access.
Okay.
But on Setlary, it's actually essential wage access.
Correct. Generically, the world calls it an earned wage access model, right? Cool. And this model is actually quite a mature model from US and Europe. But we've adopted it, brought it to Asia, and we've tweaked it slightly. In fact, quite a bit actually. How this came about, because you go back to the genesis, we go back to the history of payroll. Rightfully, I think a couple of thousand years ago.
Okay.
If you work for 1 day's worth of a full day's work, by right, at the end of the day, you should get your wages, right?
Yeah, you'll be paid at the end of the day.
Correct. But why today, every company, especially in Asia, pays their salaries only at the end of the month? Basically, what companies are doing through advent of capitalism is basically, sorry to say, but companies are exploiting their own employees. Okay, for 30 days of free working capital. 这是免费的流动资金啊。So 说难听，老板 bosses are just exploiting their own employees.
So you're talking about 30 days of labor without being paid, and then I only pay you at the end.
Correct. But this money, right, because I don't pay my employees first, I can use it for my own working capital.
Yep.
Right? From the company's perspective.
Yes.
Now we think this is wrong. And that is why passionately we came up with this essential wage digital platform to help employees. Because using our platform now, they can have the option to withdraw their salary on a daily basis even, or an earlier basis.
Okay, so you're talking about, it's not so much on the concept of early wage access where, you take your money and then now you can go and have your happy time, go and spend here and there.
Yeah.
But yours is more like, I think what Setlary is trying to do is more like you spend on the essentials to protect yourself, protect your family, spend on nutritional foods, insurance, wellness,
Exactly.
so on and so forth, right?
That's why we call it an essential wage access. Yeah.
Okay, then let's just talk a bit more because I see your unique selling point. I see your differences with other market players or the business models in foreign countries, so-called. But walk me through your target market. What market segment are we talking about that actually be using Setlary? We are talking about two markets here, because there's employer side and also the consumer side.
Let's start with the employees. We're seeing this across from the lowest of wages to even middle management, because from time to time, you may have emergencies, right? Family member needs hospitalization.
Yes.
You don't have enough insurance. And for the lowest of wages, a lot of them don't have access to like a credit card or bank access, right? That's where Setlary comes in to help them overcome these emergencies.
Understand.
Which you can never prepare for these emergencies.
True,
right?
true.
At the same time, that 30-day of exploitation, right? A lot of the lower wages in terms of these employees need their funding day to day. They live hand to mouth. 30 ringgit is also a lot of money for them, one full days of groceries.
True.
They need it for their family. So that's what we are here to solve for the employee side of things. I mean, they use our platform rather than going to Tai Long or Loan Shark, which is, it's called predatory lending.
Good point, which I'm actually going to go to there next.
Right.
Walk me through if, let's say today there's no Setlary at all.
Yeah.
How do people actually access?
So you've answered your own question, really. What they're going to find all ways and means, right?
Okay.
They're going to borrow from their own colleagues.
Okay.
They're going to go to their family members, and they don't have access to credit or bank. The very last resort, they're going to go to the loan shark. When you need money, especially for emergency, right? Your family member needs to pay a hospitalization bill, 5,000, 10,000, upfront. What choice does he have? Now, giving you this, our platform, you have the option. Hopefully, that solves a lot of pain points for the employee.
So actually, on Setlary, we are not talking about per employee. We are not talking about a large amount of money, right? We are potentially only talking about a couple of hundred ringgits per day, but that is still something that is of essential to this bunch of people.
Okay,
right?
So for us, of course, we have limits, right?
Yeah.
Just to be very clear, we are not a money lender.
Yeah, definitely.
Right, you're a money lender, of course, you need 10, 20, 30,000 as well. That's a different model altogether. But basically what we're saying is, look, you have a monthly wage. It depends on your monthly wage. If you're earning, say, 2,000 a month,
Understand.
using us, you have the option to withdraw that 2,000 a month.
Okay.
So it's still limited, but at least you have that option for a rainy day. That's what we're trying to achieve here.
I love that. I think a lot of people know it's also a society norm that certain group of people, they actually do not have access to credit, and bank actually have no way of helping them, even if they wanted to.
Okay, the minimum wage in Malaysia is 1,007. They just increased it, right? A month. Now, if you're 1,007 a month kind of a worker, no bank is going to approve you for a credit card, right?
Yep.
Or line of credit, right?
Yep.
So virtually, that employee
Yeah,
has
on
no
your
other real option, right? So that's from the employee side. For the employer side, we've seen a lot of benefits as well. Through our Setlary platform, we give you a very nice digital platform where you can actually monitor each of your employees' borrowing trends, consumption trends as well, which previously, without this digital platform, the employer will not have any clue how the employees are doing, right? But using our Setlary platform, you're able to see very clearly each employee's borrowing trends historically, each transaction.
So how does it work? Does the employer actually controls how much an employee can extract from
Totally.
asset?
We give you a platform where we don't get involved in how you run your business,
Okay.
but the employer has full control.
So it's a SaaS model then.
Yes,
Okay.
it is literally that. Yeah.
What kind of guidance do you guys provide to employers as to what's the limit that you should set? How do you monitor your employee?
From
etc.?
that perspective, of course, we have to look at the employer's financial standing as well.
Their industries.
We actually have an internal credit scoring formula in-house. So if the employer is of good credit standing, of course, we'll approve a certain credit limit. And how he allocates that to his individual employees is totally up to the employer. So in some cases, some employers even use it like a carrot and stick method. Why would I say that? It's like a motivational tool. Good employees, I give them more limit.
I understand.
Yeah,
Nice.
bad employees, I just shut it off. Well, I mean, one of our customers told us this. This employee keep going on MC.
Oh, then
Bad performance.
I won't let you draw at all.
I will shut it for you totally. And we have a digital platform that they can control at just a push of a button.
I love that. I
Yeah.
love that. What kind of business models are we talking about? Like, how do you actually make money in essence? 大家在还没有看影片之前呢，我们有个很小的通告，也就是 ZFounder 的大群呢，终于开通了。如果你今天在创业的话，记得加入咯 ，link 在 description。
Because we have to make money somehow,
Yeah,
right?
definitely.
We're not a not-for-profit organization, right? So we charge subscription fees
To the businesses.
to the employees, actually.
Oh, to the employees.
Correct. The employer doesn't pay a single cent. I mean, to be fair, who's utilizing these emergency funds at the end?
The
It
employees.
is the employee, right? Same, if you use a credit card, who pays for it? The user, right?
Okay, cool.
So same thing here. There are subscription charges, but we believe it's very fair.
How much is it, if you don't mind sharing?
We go by a fixed absolute number lah.
Okay.
So it's about like per transaction is maybe about 30 ringgit. There are other forms of subscription plans where remember I talked about those wellness benefits. So if you subscribe for a higher plan, maybe you get a bit more insurance, you get a bit more healthcare type benefits, you get some food vouchers.
I understand. So it's like,
Partner with some F&B players as well.
so it's like if I subscribe for a higher level package, it's like not only you guys let me access my wage for essential spending,
We give
but
perks
also you give me additional perks.
Correct.
Okay,
correct,
cool.
Correct.
And that is per extraction, yeah? The 30 ringgit you talk about.
Yes.
Okay.
So there are various tiers, right?
Mhm.
But the key that I'm trying to stress here, if you don't use, don't pay.
Yep.
Right? So it's entirely up to the discretion of the user, which
Yeah.
is the employee. But coming back to this, I think what we're trying to achieve is any one point in time, you have the option to access a pool of emergency funds. That's social bit that we're trying to solve here.
And also, I think that's the biggest value that you guys can provide to the employees
Right.
is to be prepared for the unknown, right?
Yeah, the literature has shown on the earned wage access kind of a business model that it increases productivity, efficiency for the employee. For the employer as well, it helps in staff retention and in the recruitment process.
Increase
as well.
productivities as well.
Yeah.
So do you only charge the employees? Do you charge the employers?
No, zero. We
Zero.
charge the employer nothing. There's no risk on the employer.
Well-
So I always tell my clients this: there's no reason for
Not
you
to
not
sign up.
not to sign up with Setlary lah. For the start, we're trying to educate the industry first.
I love that.
Yeah.
And I think you are doing the right thing because the whole market is just...
Thank you. That's why I'm here as well, to spread the word, right?
Yeah, because I don't think they understand what you are trying to do.
To be honest,
Yeah.
we first started in Indonesia.
Okay, in Indonesia.
We have a very good strategic partner there lah, that also owns a bank.
Backed by a bank in Indonesia.
Oh yeah. I mean,
Okay.
we have to be supported by banks lah.
Definitely.
Because if you think about the amount of money that we are paying on behalf of companies first, that's a lot of money, right? So the risk is totally with us, right? For companies, I mean, for the employer, I'm paying your salary up front. Indonesia, it is a very prevalent culture. There is actually a term for it. It's called Kasbon. Kasbon. You Google it, it will come out.
Never heard of that
basically, it's
before.
advanced lah.
Okay.
Because in Indonesia, with a lot of these emerging markets, a lot of their employees are hand to mouth, day to day. It's just the way of life lah.
In Chinese, they call it 手停口停 lah.
So they think
If you stop working, then there's no food on the table.
correct. But it is literally a daily culture, no. Every day they go to them, the company, Tolong HR, please advance. When we started there, my point is we don't really have to educate the market there lah.
I understand.
It's so prevalent, right?
It's just the way of
Way
living.
of life. But in Malaysia, I think it's still quite a new concept. But I believe a lot of business owners, and I'm sure you know so many of these business owners, if you have a candid conversation with them, they also know a lot of their employees need on a daily basis. It's something that they don't address it upfront. But I'm sure they know there's this problem.
Definitely not easy what you're trying to build. Let's talk a bit about your journey on leading this company itself.
I come from a corporate finance and
Okay.
fund management background.
Yeah.
So I've been in the industry for about 25 years.
Mm.
Did various things in my past life. And then during COVID, maybe it's a revelation. Don't want to continue in this rat race or try and build something, which is we can contribute to society.
Understand. Something that can create a huge impact lah.
Correct. Fortunately enough, I met my partner, Ang Gi Guan. His name is Ang lah. So he's a techie. We came together, brainstormed, then we came out with this model. So I'm the fin, he's the tech. So we came out with this fintech background that hopefully can contribute to society.
I really like how your growth strategy is it's really clear. And I think you're doing the right thing. I think your greatest challenge now is actually educating the market
Correct.
on letting them know that I'm not opening up for your employee to exploit you,
Correct.
but it's more like helping you to take care of your employee.
So going back to your original point, a lot of business owners misunderstand that point, right? And I think it can be quite toxic, this consumption kind of lifestyle, like what people call YOLO lifestyle. People, just
spend whatever they have.
and spend, right? Each day, you only live once,
But I understand where you're coming from. You are not actually targeting those people.
Correct.
You are targeting those that are really doing the hard work. They are not spending mindlessly.
Yeah.
They are just living their day-to-day life,
Correct.
trying to buy essential items for themselves and also for their family.
Correct. And emergencies happen all the time, right? I think who spoiled the market, all these loan sharks, what's illegal loan sharks,
Okay.
and this stuff, predatory lending. So hopefully with our Setlary kind of a platform, we hope to solve that part of the society's needs. Yeah.
How long have you been running Setlary?
About a year and a half. So like I said, we started in Indonesia, but in Malaysia, we're still relatively new, about 4 or 5 months now.
Is it a smooth journey for you? So
Well, it hasn't been easy. I tell you, to educate the public, that's the most difficult part of our challenge.
when you are trying to recruit, let's say, more users today, definitely you are going to, approach businesses rather than those employees. Right?
Correct.
Because employees definitely be at the end where I love if my company will
For the
offer-
employee, no
issue. They love it
the
if they
option.
have this
Yeah,
option.
That's right.
But it's the employers, right? So what kind of other myth,
We're trying to
obstacles that
debunk,
we have to debunk
Yeah.
before they see the advantage?
The concept they think is boring. To us, it's the employee's salary. It's 他应得的, it's well-deserved salary, right? It's just that he can't get it until month end. He's still got to wait. But if you think about it, by right, he's already earned it, right? I say it's 10th of the month.
Okay.
He's already worked for 9 days. He can't get his money.
Yep.
Still got to wait till month end. Using my platform, you can draw your 9 days worth of salary and do whatever you have to do, especially to solve your essential items, right? That is what differentiates us from, say, payday loans. Those are different. Some banks or corporacy that we know of are giving out these payday loans. That's a different concept. That's a loan by itself. And it can stretch, right, for up to 5 months, 6 months, 12 months, whatever.
I understand.
Yeah,
So
that's
those
basically a liability. That's outright debt.
Yeah. Because you have to pay interest and all.
Correct. And not only that, it's on top of your salary, right?
Yep.
That's
This one
right.
is just like you can get it earlier.
Correct. So that's the main difference. A loan is different. That's the obligation. It's on top, over and on top of your salary.
After running it for 4 to 5 months in Malaysia, like what kind of scale are we talking about? Like right now, do you have a lot of users? Or are you still,
We signed up 50 companies.
as far as I know, like you guys are actually supported by Maybank and also OCBC.
Correct.
So
So we've signed up about 50 companies. Hopefully, we're still signing up more. The pipeline is pretty healthy.
nice.
Just that I got to work a bit harder. The difficult challenge is to do these education kind of forums. But together with my marketing team, we're holding a few more exhibitions in the future. And we're partnering up with, for example, accounting firms, law firms, some of the banks as well. Go through them to try and spread the word.
Yep, I love it.
Yeah.
Because in essence, it's a tool that can actually allow a business to strive further, I would say.
And there's no obligation on the employer, right? In fact, like I mentioned, we bring to the employers quite a lot of benefits as well, right? And you have a digital platform for free, basically.
Any
Monitor all your employees and all that.
any ideas to monetize that side of things as well in the future?
Okay, you've asked a very good question. Where I think we will make some good money is at the tail end of it. If people buy into our story, they understand what we're trying to do here, then hopefully in the future, the market rewards us. Maybe I'll go for an IPO at one point in time, at some point in time. But till we get there, I'm focused on trying to build our presence here first in Southeast Asia. Now we're in 3 countries. We're in Indonesia, Malaysia, and Singapore. I believe you'll find the same social problems in Thailand, Vietnam, Cambodia, Philippines. So these are the markets that we'll probably go to next to grow our presence there.
Yeah, I think you're quite focused. Southeast Asia is definitely different from European countries.
Yeah, for sure. Still emerging. Some are even frontier markets that have a very young population, still striving to grow. The GDP per capita is still very low, and they don't have access to financing. Like both of you, we sit here in Malaysia, we have very developed capital markets, right? But if you go to, say, Philippines, let's use that example. I mean, most of people don't have bank credit at all. It's really day-to-day, hand-to-mouth.
I actually love the concept because I wouldn't say shifting the risk to the employer because there's no risk.
There's no risk to the employer.
To no begin with because it's actually it's a wage.
Correct.
Walk me a bit through the risk of that model, right? Every business model comes with a risk. Do you have any, in banks we call it bad loans where people just run away? Do you face that as well?
Performing loans, we definitely face that. Setlary, we take up all the risks. Basically, we help companies pay the employees' salaries first, right, in advance. And the employee doesn't have to pay anything upfront, right? End of the month, then the employer pays me back.
Yep.
And in any case, the employee has to pay his wages on time, right? So to the employer, he's indifferent. No difference to the employer. Now, where's the risk if end of the month, if the company, for whatever reason, goes into financial difficulty, cannot pay me back?
Wow.
then I'm, for want of a better word, screwed.
Have you faced that
yeah,
issue before so far?
We have. In Indonesia, some of the smaller companies, we faced that kind of issue before. Touch wood, so far in Malaysia, it's been going quite smoothly.
Then I will assume you guys have a clear SOP and also a due diligence process.
For sure.
To filter what kind of company can actually come on board Setlary and so on.
Because we're supported by banks, so we have an internal credit check and credit scoring process before we onboard these companies. So unfortunately for those companies that are not in good financial standing, we will even use CTOS to check their financial health and all that. Then sorry, we can't onboard those companies.
All I can say is Setlary is not a magic tool. If your business is not good to begin with, we are not there to absorb that risk. I understand that.
Yeah, I'm not charity, right?
Yeah. Thanks for sharing that, Charles. I think those are really good points. Up next, we are going to talk about the scalability side of Setlary and where are we heading towards in the future.